Gentlewoman from Florida for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all of our witnesses for being here today. Mr. Wright, it is good to see you. Go Gators. I'm disappointed, no orange and blue tie. Dr. Fontes is repping for you, though.
It's blue. The doctor and I, we coordinated today for you.
I appreciate that, even though I know we had a little bit of a rough weekend, and I heard my colleague, Representative Castor, was giving us a bit of grief, but we're Gators. So
But we appreciate her sensitivity to the Gator Nation.
That's right, that's right. But I also want to acknowledge all our first responders in the room. Thank you all so much for your service and for your family's service. As the wife of a firefighter, SWAT medic, I know firsthand what it is like, and so deeply grateful for everything that y'all do. I'm also disappointed in some of the very divisive and partisan language that I just heard from my colleague on the other side of the aisle. Emergency communications, it is not a Republican or a Democrat issue. It is an American issue. And so I'm just a little disappointed that it has to turn into a food fight, but we're here because we have a real issue that we have to solve. We need to figure out a way to update our systems. And as a Floridian, I've seen time and time again how vital our reliable communications are during a disaster, and truly how scary it can be when they go down. So whether it's a hurricane knocking on our door that is taking out our power and cell sites, or federal and local responders struggling to operate on the same systems, these gaps can really mean the difference between life or death. Certainly as someone who represents a district that saw 3 major hurricanes in the span of 13 months, we know this firsthand. Of course, Florida faces unique challenges, from protecting our seniors in rural communities to keeping millions of our visitors safe every year. This conversation on strengthening public safety communications, whether it's 911 systems, FirstNet, or other tools, it is critical. So having worked those storms, I can say confidently that we need to take an above all approach when it comes to building out the systems, updating them, and building in redundancies. I'm so excited for today's conversation because it is something that is long overdue. We need a system that is resilient, interoperable, and secure when it comes to the issues and communications that matter most. So I'm going to start with you, Sheriff. One of the promises that NextGen 911 it has is the ability to transmit text, images, video, and location data directly to first responders in the field. I can't tell you how many times my husband has been on one system, and he's a city. He works for the city, but then the county's operating on a different system, and maybe there's a mutual aid call coming in from a neighboring county. Some are on slurs, some are on a different bandwidth. It's tough, and I can tell you firsthand some of the challenges that we've seen with FirstNet in our rural communities. So what steps can Congress take to ensure nationwide interoperability amongst all of the different networks that our first responders operate on, so that they can move seamlessly amongst jurisdictions, especially during large-scale disasters?
Well, your example with your husband is very pertinent to this when you're talking about even between fire, sheriff's departments, and police departments. So interoperability by having that common platform, being FirstNet or broadband just for public safety, is first and foremost. A lot of the modern technologies, both in our handheld radios as well as when we use our cell phones to talk to each other, have the ability to automatically recognize jurisdictional boundaries and then make those connections. Some of it can be done in our dispatch centers. There's technology that allows 2 disparate radio systems to be plugged in, and now they can turn around and communicate with each other. I think ensuring simple, straightforward technologies like that and providing really the governance and policy language from the federal level across the board will allow us to standardize to make sure that we continue to move in the direction you're describing.
I love that. I love that, especially since these are very expensive systems. You've got people investing millions and millions of dollars to upgrade their system only to find that they can't communicate just even a few counties over, so that's really important. And then my next question is going to be on FirstNet. So the FirstNet Authority recently held a workshop in our district to solicit feedback on the priorities from our first responders. In the most recent storm, the minute I got out of my home county, Alachua County, heading west towards the hurricane where it had hit the hardest, my husband immediately lost coverage. I don't have FirstNet, and I didn't have coverage. So this is something that I brought to their attention. Now, I understand that these individuals are best positioned to help guide infrastructure needs in our communities, But how has your experience been in getting the infrastructure placed where you need it in an emergency situation as it relates to FirstNet?
In terms of the portability of like FirstNet mobile towers and things like that, it's good, they respond. However, what you're talking about is the physical tower itself and going down, and that's what your husband experienced.
Right.
Number one, construction standards, making these things resilient. Also calling it is what it is, critical infrastructure across the United States, securing it, maintaining it, and monitoring it.
And I know I'm over my time, but at some point I would like to get on the record some commentary on redundancies and moving away from singular prime towers. I think that that is a disaster in the making, so I'll follow up with all of you. But thank you again for each of you being here today. Appreciate you. And go Gators.
Gentleman